I wanted to do a video on this thing that's happening, but I couldn't really find a decent way to put it in a real professional format, so I decided instead just to go ahead and let it be done off the top of my head. Now, there have been multiple reports, not just from independent media, but even mainstream media is now starting to acknowledge it, albeit very quietly, that there are unmarked vans going around Portland, snatching people up. Yes, like, I'm talking like the good old-fashioned black bag pulled into a van off the street, no accountability, nobody knows what happened, no identified forces that are committing these abductions. And it is also being reported that not only is the Department of Homeland Security patrolling the streets in Portland, but the Secret Service as well. You know, the Secret Service, you know, that guys who protect current and former presidents and watch over money. For some reason, they're doing regular police duties now. Well, not quite regular police duties, but they're coming out with no identification, some of them in military fatigues, again, no identification, and snatching people off the street. And no one knows where these people are ending up. It hasn't quite reached the mainstream where the regular person is going to hear about it, but there are scattered reports in mainstream publications, etc. And of course, there is public statements by the governor of Oregon telling Trump that he doesn't want federal police interfering with the protest situations in Portland. And essentially the federal government saying, or rather Trump specifically saying, they don't care, they're going to send people in anyway. Now here's a point that the independent media didn't miss this point, but the point that all the mainstream media did miss. Every time we are given some kind of boogeyman justification for invading a country, we're looking at it right now. You understand the very fascist, totalitarian stereotype that is used to demonize countries, whether they actually happened or not, are now happening right in the United States, in Portland. Unmarked vans filled with unmarked officers from whatever branch of the government, whatever police or law enforcement organization, are snatching people off the street, abducting them, no warrant, no identification, no reading rights, and since we haven't heard back from any of these people, we assume no access to an attorney. Now, do people understand that this is the totalitarian of totalitarian actions? This is as big of an affront to the Constitution as you could get. I mean, the only way for this to be more offensive to the Constitution is to be literally burning it right in front of the actions. Well, part of me wouldn't put it past them to do it, but you know what I mean. Every time we have to invade Iraq because Saddam Hussein, secret police, rape rooms, and all other manner of stuff made up for why he's a dictator, because that weapons of mass destruction narrative eventually fell through, and the Bush administration kind of moved on to calling him a dictator, and that's why he had to be removed, even though the CIA actually installed him. But, you know, whatever. Although that boogeyman thing, for however much of it was real, and I get the feeling that not much of it was real, but I'm not saying Saddam Hussein was a good guy, but I'm saying a lot of lies were used to justify his murder. Isn't that the big totalitarian scare we get about the Soviet Union? Oh, you know, people just get arrested in the middle of the night. You know, knock on the door. Who's that? Oh, look, it's the Stasi Gestapo Spugenflagen or whatever. That's the kind of boogeyman image that we get, and that's what we should be afraid of. And this is capitalism. This is true freedom, because true freedom is when you can buy stuff, not when you don't get black-bagged or anything. Not like when you're free from worry or having to worry about access to resources. It's when you can buy stuff. don't worry, the Xbox 720 whatever is coming out soon, so it's okay. That's not a shot at gamers or kids necessarily. It's a shot at capitalism in general. But look at this. Everything that is ever being used to demonize socialist countries, or even countries that are just resistant to U.S. domination, like Iraq, Venezuela, Syria, etc. They're literally doing it for real right in the United States. And the mainstream media doesn't feel it's worthy of full-time attention, the full-time attention that it actually deserves. Not some, 15-second spot somewhere off on the side after the lighter side of the news, or, the fluff piece for that day. It needs to be on the main page. It needs to be on the front. If that's the job of the media, and I have read so many textbooks on journalism, free ones that I got off the internet because I'm not paying $800 for a goddamn textbook, but even ones that, let's say, fell off the back of a pirate ship. Every single one of these textbooks I read, written by capitalist countries, capitalist institutions, every single one of them emphasizes the importance that the main reason for freedom of speech isn't just so that you could say whatever you want, but the main reason for freedom of speech and the freedom of the press is to hold people in power accountable. If the people in power are doing something that is unethical, that is wrong, that is illegal, that is harmful, it is the responsibility of the press to say something and to get it out to people. But what are we seeing from the mainstream media? They're not doing it. Now, I can understand to a degree, 4 people from the OPCW have come out against the official OPCW report, saying that the Syrian government used chemical weapons doesn't match what their actual investigation findings are, and we're just going to, mysteriously forget to ever mention those 4 people came out as whistleblowers. Okay, I can understand why the mainstream media is going to lie there. It's going to lie by omission, to justify the imperialist invasion, because that serves the capitalist class as a whole. But when do you reach the line where even it's being done to you at home? When regular Americans who are just protesting, violent or not, most of which, it is peaceful protest because the media chooses to focus on the violent protest to a degree. I understand why they would do that. Are black-bagging citizens. You remember the outrage that liberals had? This is what was going to happen under Bush. We're all going to get sent to Guantanamo Bay, and then, all the Muslims are going to be scooped off the street and arrested without warrant or charge, and anybody who disagrees with the Bush administration, it's going to happen. Well, I mean, it very vaguely happened to a very low degree, mostly to Muslims for obvious reasons. But now you're having it happen for real. Like, for real, literally, black bag, knock on your door, pull up to you when you're walking on the street, the van opens up, grabs you like some fucking kid into the pedo van or something. And the mainstream media's got nothing to say. Okay, I have read so many of these damn textbooks saying about how it's the responsibility of a free press to hold accountable those who are in power. And that not only that so that you can, but that you have a responsibility to do it. And where are every single one of these people who claim to be journalists? Every single one of these news anchors of CNN, Fox, MSNBC, CNBC, MSNBC, whatever. Where are any of them to call attention to this? And I guarantee you, every single one of them would laugh at me and say I'm not a journalist. I guarantee you, every single one of them would laugh at every single person who decided to take the news into their own hand on YouTube or some other social media platform. Every citizen journalist, they would laugh at them and say they're not real journalists. And talk about their supposed moral superiority for being on the side that has more money. Well, where is that moral responsibility right now? Come on, Sean Hannity. Tucker Carlson. Rachel Maddow. Don Lemon. Wolf Blitzer. By the way, my beard's better than yours. Where are all these, Jake Tapper and all them? Why aren't they bringing this up? For all the bluster from the liberal media about how much they hate Trump, and they're going to point to something he said that was stupid, and it should be pointed out because he is stupid. And every ethical, immoral thing that Trump has ever done, which there is an astronomical pile of it. Where is this? This is one of the most frightening things the United States government has done to its people in a generation. The only thing I think of that was scarier than this would be the draft in Vietnam. And where is the media? The self-righteous goddamn capitalist media, because remember, there's no such thing as free media in socialism. Except for that, that thing that I posted from 600 seconds when it showed the government was deliberately causing food shortages in order to justify remarket reforms by throwing food in the garbage. That guy was fired from his job, but even he had more integrity. I can't pronounce his name, but that Soviet journalist had more integrity than any one of these shills on any one of these mainstream networks right now. And I apologize that I couldn't do this as a regular news video and this turned into a rant. But I kind of figured it was going to go that way anyway. So it's disgusting. You've got the real hardcore Nazi brown shirt kind of shit going down in the United States, in Portland, and the mainstream media, the holier than thou, they're the real journalists, etc., aren't covering it. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.